Also new this afternoon, a Tallahassee man will now spend 4 years in prison after allegedly posing as a U.S. Army veteran and stealing benefits. Court documents show Michael Dyson applied for VA benefits in April of 2022, but he isn't a veteran. He claimed he had a Purple Heart and a Bronze Star. He collected medical benefits for more than 3 years. Documents say Dyson was caught in May when he tried to get housing benefits. After spending 4 years in prison, Dyson will be on supervised release for 3 years. He's also required to pay the VA back almost $30,000.